Okay, thank you. Welcome everyone in world and in the room and in the chat room. As you may be able to see, it's a bit discombobulating here because I'm now present in many places in the room. I can see myself virtually and in reality over there. Behind me I can see my viewpoint. I know I'm standing here, I'm sure I am. And if I had more fingers I'd probably be tweeting and that sort of thing. Just wait for the feedback to go. Still okay? Yeah, cool. Before we do a guided tour not only of our own offices at the Online Therapy Institute, but also of John's. Let me tell you a bit about where I started with avatar therapy. In 2002, I went to a conference for the Telephone Helplines Association, now called the Helplines Association, and the keynote speaker was a guy, Ian Pearson, who was the head of BT Exact, and he actually presented like I am today. He co-presented with himself as an avatar. And everyone in the room found this absolutely hysterical, and I was sitting at the back of the room thinking there is therapeutic potential in this. This is in 2002, so I spoke to him afterwards and he put me in touch with the BT Exact Technologies team. And Stephen Goss and myself went many times to Ipswich to work with them in developing avatar therapy. We did various bits and pieces of work, creating virtual play therapy areas, etc. And having a ball, developing a prototype for avatar therapy back in 2002. BT Exact were great for us. They really, really were helpful. And I'm sure Steph I can appreciate, Steph, what you were saying yesterday about them being so helpful. And they did all this free work for us and putting together my ideas and Stephen's ideas and making them a reality. We published that in 2002 in the BACP journal and got quite a backlash for it. We were accused of having lost the plot, and BACP were very dramatic about it and said it was counselling me to Star Trek, etc., which was a little unnecessary, I felt, but it shows that at the time it was quite radical. Now we're not only just offering services in Second Life, which the online therapy doesn't do. There are still lots and lots of research to be done, and there's still issues within Second Life, for instance, not least the fact that voice isn't encrypted in Second Life, and one of the things the Online Therapy Institute insists on is encryption for all forms of communication, even if it's just potential clients coming in and visiting. There are ways around that. You can use Skype layered on top of Second Life. There's also ways around it. For instance, we don't have to use Second Life. There's plenty of open SIMs available. Thank you, JK. If you'll see the chat at the bottom, the people in world will be chatting down there. The people around the world will be chatting over there. So we're now global. And that's a very exciting place to be. So yes.
Again, Kate, I've lost it already.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm in Second Life. I'm standing here. I'm over there. Down in the bottom corner here, there's the local chat for Second Life. So that box will come up there. With the people in Second Life, we'll be chatting in there.
Yeah.
The people in OCTIA online will be chatting in there.
Oh, right.
Okay.
I understand what you mean now.
Cool. So now you get to watch both feeds from all over the world. Yeah, you're going to get a sore neck by the end of the session, let's face it. So therapy in Second Life is now a reality. As I mentioned yesterday, John Wilson wrote a chapter for our forthcoming book, The Use of Mental Health and Technology, that's wrong, The Use of Technology in Mental Health, Applications, Ethics and Practice, out later this autumn, sorry. Too much time in world. Talking to people in the USA, I think. And I want to share with you quite how far the innovation is going in Second Life by telling you a bit about VRIT. VRIT is virtual reality immersion therapy, and I'll be quite brief on this because we do have the tour to get around. But with VRIT, they are actually working with issues of bereavement and being able to develop a vision board which clients put together with photos of someone they've lost, a loved one they've lost. And avatars can be created from that vision board, and the person can be virtually brought back to life, and then the client will have a dialogue with that avatar to resolve any unresolved issues that they had at the person's death. So we can now actually bring people back to life using virtual reality. I'm not saying it doesn't need a huge amount of exploration and a huge amount of ethical exploration, but it certainly is a potential. And these things will, as I said, grow and grow. I'd like to welcome certainly everyone in World and certainly in the message board. Stop me with various questions as we go along. You'll notice my avatar and indeed Deanna's and probably many other people in the room. If you're a professional online, and particularly if you're a professional therapist online, I think it's very important to keep very congruent in many ways, and how you communicate, but also how you look as well. So you'll see very realistic avatars. So you'll see today I'm more or less wearing what my avatar wears. There are subtle differences. I do have a pierced nose in Second Life, which I don't in real life because I'm too scared to do it. But also other things like my boots and watch and everything, and the same for Deanna, and glasses. The only other thing that I keep meaning to change are the earrings. So let me show you a bit around the Online Therapy Institute. This is Therapy Square. If I just storm through people and move around. And if people in World would like to follow me, that would be great.
Are you throbbing, or is that, what is that little blue thing? Is that green? Is that Tinkerbell, or what?
Yes, it's my personal fairy. It's my personal fairy.
Oh.
That's indicating that I'm the one speaking.
Oh.
So what we're trying to develop is essentially a 3D website to disseminate more information about the work of the Online Therapy Institute and how we're working towards getting things more and more options for people. It's used as a 3D website, if you like, where people can come and interact with us. Deanna and I do a lot of interviews in World, in particular. And we try to offer as many different ways to interact and offer those informations. I'll start with the main offices themselves, and we'll start at the back. I'll introduce you to Deanna's cat. I'll introduce you to our mascot, which is a kingfisher. So we'll start right over the back here. And you can see it's all very peaceful, all very therapeutic. This is my office. And you'll see we have virtual tissues. You can really put anything you like into Second Life. You can also fly. And it's quite interesting, the identity management in Second Life. Some of our guests here today are from CESL, which is Counsellor Education in Second Life. And Deanna and I did a presentation at their virtual conference last year. And I was interested to see that someone in the back of the room their avatar was in a wheelchair. And it fascinated me, this, because I so wanted to go up to the guy and ask him if he was actually disabled in real life, or was that something that he identified with. Therefore, when he created his avatar, did he create it with a wheelchair, or was that representation of himself? So, very interesting what people do with Second Life and in their avatars in particular. So I can reach out and touch. Yes, as Joe Kay says, Joe Kay is our Second Life developer. So I can sit at my virtual desk and hold meetings in here. Also stand up and move around again. I can also fly, which is a much quicker way of getting to places which are quite local to you. Otherwise, you just teleport. Sorry, Stephen. That was Stephen, by the way. Welcome, Deanna. This is my co-founder of the Online Therapy Institute, Deanna. And if I move out of the way a bit, you'll be able to see